Another set of LED headlights to review. It's been a while since I've reviewed a set of LED headlights, and I wanted to test these out. These are different than the other ones. These are obviously not the 4x6 or 5x7. These are the kind that go into a projector housing. What caught my attention about these is this little symbol here. I interpret that as meaning it's 300% brighter, and also 200% broader, and 250% further. And VC cooling, don't know what that means. But these are cool white, they're 6,000 degrees Kelvin, which means they're going to be pretty freaking blue. Let's go ahead and unbox them. Let's take a look-see. By the way, today's knife of choice is an X-Acto knife that I, for some reason, felt the need to polish the handle on. I actually don't know why I did that. I believe I was on an interminable hold for customer service. I don't want to talk about it. Had nothing to do with these. Alright, here we go. We're in. Alright, let's see. Here's the instruction manual. The V45 series, whatever that is. Let's see. Special introduction. These are H7 LED bulbs. For some vehicle models, when installing the H7 LED bulbs, you need some specially modified, customized adapters, holders, buckles of headlamp for your vehicle, which is helped to fit the LED H7 bulb correctly. Okay, so anyway, looks pretty straightforward, right? H4, H7 need to install the buckle first, then insert the bulb. Yeah, okay. Well, whatever that is, we will figure it out and we'll worry about it later. So let's take these guys out. Let's take a look. There's the two of them. They're actually kind of nice. Much better view. Here we go. So here's the connector. Pretty straightforward. I wonder if it's, oh, it is polarized. It's labeled positive and negative. That's good because I want to test these with the bench power supply. The basic construction is a fan on the back, heatsink, and of course the cob that chip on board. There are two, and looks like there are 6 in each unit. I don't know how many elements there are in there. Maybe we will try really low voltage powering if it will allow us, and maybe that will tell us. But basically 6 per side, so that's 12 LEDs. Don't know what kind of power it is, but we're about to find out. In fact, by the way, this is just a ballast, I presume. In fact, let me go grab the power supply and we'll do a little bit of bench testing before we put them in the car. What's going to be a little bit different in this test is I'm going to add something, not just brightness measurements with the light meter, but I'm actually going to do a color rendering test of sorts, what I can reasonably do here, which is going to be using a chip chart, a Macbeth chart, whatever you want to call it, so we can determine what the color rendering is like, and I'll explain when I'm doing it why that's important. All right, let's make sure I don't get this wrong. That would be bad. So this is the negative terminal. I have the power supply set to 12 volts at 5 amps. I do not expect these to draw anywhere close to that. Double check. Measure twice, cut once, and all that. I'm going to hold these sideways, or this one sideways. All right, let's turn it on, see what happens. Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, it's hitting a full 5 amps at 10 volts. I mean, it is current limiting. This thing is getting hot. The fan is spinning. It's more than my supply can handle. So, wow, okay, I'm seeing things now. Wow, that is unexpected. If only you could see my face right now. Okay, that was very bright. So yeah, we were seeing over 50 watts. It was, the voltage dropped down to 10 volts and change. I'm still seeing stars. 10 volts and change at 5 amps. I think maybe we got to get a bigger power supply. Okay, we have a bigger power supply now. This one is rated at up to 10 amps. It's a variable power supply, set to 12.5 volts, which, you know, I mean, car electric circuitry, or the circuitry in a car will typically run around 13.8 volts, give or take. We will use our clamp current meter. We'll set it to 40 amps. Okay, and it's going to have to be clamped on in this fashion. Let's see if I can put it in a place where it's still in the shot, but yet doesn't have a massive reflection on the screen. Alright, so this could be an electro boom type of moment because I have exposed AC wiring here. Don't try this at home, kids. Alright, here comes the current. Hopefully it doesn't go over 10 amps, although I highly doubt it will. Whoa. Yeah, baby. It burnt a hole. Wow. That is, that's special. 300% brighter indeed. Wow, is all I'm saying. There we go. Okay, so 5.2 amps, 5.1 amps. That's kind of, on one hand, that's kind of mind-blowing. 5.1 amps at 12.5 volts. That is over 60 watts. That's a lot. I mean, that is crazy. That is a lot. That's way more power than the other LED headlights we tested. As it warms up, it's actually dropping, which is interesting. The ballast is a touch warm, but it burnt a hole. Wow. Okay. Yeah, they may be 300% brighter. Only one way to find it. That is just crazy. Wow. Okay, well, we're going to go put them in the car and compare them against the tungsten bulbs. It's been 4 days since I shot the intro to this video. It's been raining every day, including today, and it's going to snow in a few hours. So let's see if we can get this thing in and finish this thing. First of all, let's see how hard it is to install these. Shouldn't be any harder than typical headlight replacement. This is an old Chrysler. Where you have to remove the entire headlight. But it's actually pretty easy. Here's the old bulb. There's another company out there that's recently started putting out headlight review videos. It turns out they sell headlights, and they've jocked some of my techniques from 4 years ago, which was the last time I did a headlight review. And I also disagree with some of their testing procedures. They're ignoring things like spread and other things. You may find them if you're searching. You'll know who I'm talking about. I don't sell these things for a living. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, if these work out, I'll put a link in the description below, but it ain't gonna make or break me if you don't buy them. All right, let's see if we got the polarity correct. That was easy. Well, it was a 50-50 shot, and we were wrong. So let's flip it around. Let's try this. Okay, let's put the headlight back. Done. It did actually take a little bit of fiddling to get them in, so there was a cutoff. Initially when I installed them there was no cutoff, but now we just have to wait for it to get completely dark outside and for it not to snow. Alright, it's pretty dark out here, but I dragged out one of my professional cameras just so we could lock the color temperature and the exposure and all that happy jazz. We're currently locked in at 4,400 degrees Kelvin, which is sort of, it's bluer than most tungsten lights, but it's more comparable to like a mid to late summer afternoon daylight sort of balance. And this way you can get a comparison between the two headlights. Obviously the tungsten bulb is a lot dimmer than the Bevinsee LED bulb. We're going to do light meter comparisons. So I guess let's have at it. Let's block off one headlight at a time. This is the tungsten bulb, and it's at the same distance as my test 4 years ago. So let's get a lux reading right in the middle of the hot spot. 420. 500. 500. Let's call it 500. Here on the edge, 170. And on this edge, also 170. All right, cue the Bevinsee. 970, 1100, 1100, 1100. Not even close. I'm getting 230, 240. It's just a lot brighter. 400. There's really no contest here. Obviously, the Bevinsee is a lot brighter. The spread and the cutoff are pretty much dictated by the housing. Looking head on the GoPro, it doesn't look that different, but that's because the camera just doesn't have the dynamic range. So there you go. It's a huge difference in brightness. All right, so we're out driving around with these things, and you can see it's almost like the tungsten light's not even really there. But I did do one other test, and that's a color rendering test. And as you can see on the left, there's the Bevinsee light on this color chip chart. It reproduces colors extremely well. On the right is the tungsten light under the same chip chart. Now, tungsten has a color rendering of pretty close to 100%, if not 100%, even though the color temperatures are different. Why is that important? Well, if somebody steps out in front of you with a green jacket and your LED headlights do a poor job of reproducing green, you're less likely to see them. And for comparison's sake, I'm also going to put up the same color chip chart under a professional LED light, which is set to 5,200 degrees Kelvin, which we consider daylight. Obviously, daylight can vary quite a bit, but it's what we consider the average as daylight. And I'm also going to put up a shot of the same chip chart underneath the LED headlights that we put into the LTD 4 years ago. So if you like this video and you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell and give me a thumbs up. And there's a lot more electric turbo stuff coming up pretty soon. And I've just got all kinds of stuff planned for the YouTube channel. I'm looking forward to putting a lot more time into it. So, you know, show me a little bit of love and I will put even more effort into it. And it's, you know, any relationship is a two-way street, right?